All right, so I'm here with Eliana. Eliana, you excited for this?
Yep.
All right, what do you think we're gonna do?
Take a walk.
Very good. Walk and talk. That's right. Now, one of the reasons why I want to do this is because I feel like you can't understand Audra. You can't understand me without understanding our kids, because you guys are the most important thing in our lives. You are our most proud accomplishment, and we think that you are just God's gift of love and grace, that we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And we just think that you guys were given a very special godly mission to change the world. And at first, I think we thought we were going to change the world, and then we realized we actually might just be prepping you guys to do it, or some part in between. So what do you think about all that?
Oh, thank you. That was really sweet. And I think that's correct, and it sounds really awesome and epic.
Okay, first question is, how has it been to be part of a family that has kind of been called at different whims to do things? And what has the experience been like for you?
I thought it was really crazy. At first, I had a really hard time with it, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But the more I thought of it like a story or like Secret Life of Walter Mitty, then it became more exciting, and it was like something out of a sci-fi movie where you could see things that other people couldn't see and decode secret messages that aren't obvious to everyone else.
So now the interesting thing is, so there's a few good things that you brought up that could bring us to whole other discussions. But one of the first ones that you mentioned is just the decoding aspect. And I think it's very interesting because a lot of people say decoding, what is it? It seems too difficult. It seems like you couldn't really use it. What have you found after all these years? First of all, how long have you known about using Nakane CAPS to look at yourself, others, your siblings, your parents?
How long was that? It's been so long, I can't remember the exact number. Since 2008.
So what are some of the things then you've found of being able to do this decoding? What does it enable you to do, and is it that difficult for you to do now?
I don't think it's really that difficult. The thing that makes it difficult is the mentality you have towards it. If you don't have a willingness to learn it, you're gonna find it difficult because it goes beyond what the norm has been so far.
Describe that norm.
The norm has been that you have these personality tests over here, and all of them to some degree can make sense, but they kind of don't, so it leaves you kind of free to kind of like explore and be who you want to be.
Now let's talk about why people might feel like this is weird, or why this might make people hesitant at first, and with your own personal experiences.
There's a part of me that knew it was true, right? Because you can see people when you look at them. You see the eye movements, and you know that there's something there. But at the same time, you kind of want to like push it to the side, because it's like, there's nothing there, it's not a big deal, we can just go on with our daily lives and pretend that nothing's going on and there's nothing happening and it's not that important.
That's a very good observation. So basically, wanting to push it aside, what's the part that makes you feel like it's weird or uncomfortable, or something that you'd want to push aside as opposed to wanting to use it for your everyday life?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a part of it that kind of makes your thoughts or feelings less private. You know, like you put your eyes to the left and you're like, oh, you're thinking. I'm like, darn it. There's a part of that not having as much privacy that you kind of like wish you could go back and be like, I wish I could just think something out. People realize that I'm thinking of something. But it also helps because then people know what's going on and they can ask, well, you were thinking of something. Can I know what you were thinking about so I can help you? Because sometimes you don't know how to talk about it or think you can just figure it out on your own when other people have different profiles. And if they're able to notice something like that, they can help you see a different aspect of a situation or a mentality or a way of life that would change the way you work or in the way you communicate with people. And that definitely helps.
It's a great answer.
When you're profiling someone, you can see the eye movements and you can, based on those eye movements, figure out what motivant they're in, what they're motivated by. And by doing that, you can like kind of fill in the blanks about what they're thinking or feeling based off of the situation and the way that their expression looks when they're talking to you and what kind of thoughts go with that look and motivant. So as far as the privacy thing goes, when the person is being profiled and you can kind of fill in the gaps of as to what they're thinking, it kind of feels like you are reading their mind. So whenever I would struggle with like being angry at ridiculous things or rebelling and my parents would profile me, I felt as if I was kind of being invaded of a kind of privacy because they could pretty much guess what was going on in my head without me even having to say it. And that was one of the things that I didn't like about it at first, but I wouldn't tell them what I was struggling with on my own. So in order for me to improve, they kind of had to do that with me anyway. So I kind of learned to appreciate that and to learn what would help me be able to communicate what I'm feeling in the first place so they wouldn't have to do that as much. If I want to communicate something that I was struggling with, I need to go to approval and humble myself and then go to respect and say what it is that I'm struggling with. And feeling like it was something in my life that could potentially be dangerous or make people turn away from me. And I didn't want to have something like that in my life. So it took a long time for me to kind of overcome all those things and realize what a gift it was because I would be helped a lot more, which I wanted. And I'd be able to understand other people a lot better and maybe put myself in a different light in order to communicate with different people better and realize where I went wrong in the past when communicating with others and how cool it was that I could be like a spy / historian / artist and photographer and learn how to be more adventurous in the way that God wants me to be and discern when it's right and wrong to do certain things and when it's not.
All right, well that was an amazing description, honest description, and I think that's one of the big things that we want to do is we want to have honest dialogue because one of the things that I was always big into is I basically would hit the pause button on the Nakane CAPS mission anytime I felt like we weren't being good enough parents or good enough spouses to each other, or if our family didn't have harmony. I wanted to hit the pause button to make sure that we actually could achieve what we were setting out to achieve and then ultimately share.
Right.
As far as you mentioned a few things like being like a spy or historian or an artist, or photographer, what are some of those ways that Nakane CAPS or your place in this Nakane CAPS mission has helped you to do those things?
So those are all things that I love to do. I love learning about history, I love taking pictures of people, and I love drawing. And I wanted to kind of make a career out of doing all of those things, but I never had the drive to keep learning it and to make sure that I was practicing it and putting it either online or having a set schedule where once a week I want to have 2 pictures. What CAPS helped me to learn is to, more times than not, when I'm going through that process of taking a picture or a drawing or something like that, to go to a visual motivant like, well, just get it done. I know you're tired, just get it done. Or victory, my goal is to do this, so I'm going to do it and I'm going forward. Or having the respect schedule of doing certain things either every day or a couple times a week or things like that.
Well, you know, this is all news to me too, because I didn't realize that you actually were using and applying these things to that level of detail. That's really exciting. So how has it worked out for you?
It's been good. There are times where it gets off schedule sometimes because, you know, that things come up. But
because you're human.
Yeah.
And all humans like to procrastinate and be fearful and overwhelmed and all those things. Yeah.
You guys told me that if I want my life to be a certain way, I have to start living it. So Mom told me to write down certain things that I wanted to do, either on a daily basis or weekly basis. So I just wrote down some points and then been trying my best based on what I wrote.
Hey, well, I've really enjoyed this inaugural walk. How have you liked it?
I liked it a lot.
You did? Okay, cool. Do you want to keep doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Thanks again. Awesome job.